Just for the benefit of those who don't understand Thai, I'll give you a short summary of what Luang said. Luang said it today is what we call One Prat, the Buddhist holy day. It's the new moon day in the calendar, so it's 15th day of the lunar cycle. It's a day when traditionally Buddhists come into the temple or the monastery to offer alms and practice generosity and to listen to Dhamma and practice Dhamma. When we come to practice the Dhamma, we're coming to practice what you might call purity, or develop a sense of purity in our hearts and minds through studying and listening to the Dhamma. This purity comes about through understanding ourselves better and learning to free ourselves from disease or illness. And Luang was talking about two kinds of disease or illness. There's the illness of the body, which is perhaps what we're more familiar with. When we catch disease, catch viruses and bugs, or we live in an unhealthy way, our body becomes affected by that. We suffer. And we're familiar with that, but we also have to become aware of the disease of the mind, the illness of the mind, which similarly comes about through when we catch, you might say, mental bugs, or don't look after our mind. So these two aspects of Dhamma practice go together. We're learning to live in a skillful way in the world where we look after our physical health, well-being through developing a wise lifestyle, understanding, say, what is good to eat, nutrition, good environment, and how to live wisely with the material world, to understand what is supportive of peaceful living, convenient and happy living, in the use of the material things that we have in life, our resources, the things we consume and so on. As far as the mental purity and well-being that we're talking about in the practice and aiming for, that has to come equally through studying and learning about the mind, to see that which causes us suffering, those ways of our mental activity, our thoughts, intentions that bring us harm. So the Buddhist path, we have a famous teaching the Buddha gave that sort of just summarizes this practice of developing the mind for state of freedom from mental disease, mental suffering, and that's sabba papasa akaranang, abandoning all that is unwholesome states of mind, mental activity. Kusala Supa Sampata, developing that which is good, that which is skillful and wholesome in our minds. Sachita Pariyotapanang, purifying the mind thereby, by abandoning the unwholesome or evil and doing good. Little by little we are purifying our mind, bringing it to peace and inner peace, inner happiness. And a quality we need perhaps most of all to do this is the quality of knowing, mindfulness, sati sampajanya, mindfulness, and an all-round knowing, an all-round understanding of what we're doing in life, and an all-round understanding of our mind itself, what we're thinking at any time, the mental activity that's coming up. So we're developing this inner quality of inner knowing, so that we have almost like a filter system, that we can filter out the negative or harmful or unskillful states of mind that bring us mental stress and suffering, and bring up, maintain, preserve and develop the wholesome, skillful states of mind that are conducive to peace and happiness. And much of Dhamma practice is involved with this, developing this quality of inner knowing all the time through our lives. By doing so, we're managing to free our minds from stressful thoughts, negative thoughts that cause us so much suffering. And this inner knowing allows us to recognize what is a stressful thought and then literally let it go or leave it alone, not take ownership of it. One of the main delusions we have that causes us suffering is we take ownership of our mental states, our moods, our thoughts, and by taking ownership we mean we grab hold of them, we attach to them all the time, so we become that way. So if we have a negative thought, we become irritated and agitated because of it, because of this grasping. But when we develop this quality of knowing, awareness, inner awareness, we can see what we're doing. It gives us the skill to see the benefit of actually letting go, non-grasping at these moods of suffering, these negative thoughts, negative moods. With non-grasping and letting go, then we achieve peace and purity of mind little by little by doing that more often. And the Buddha said, learning how to live wisely with the material world, and learning how to eat wisely, rest wisely, involve ourselves with the material side of life wisely, will lead to the greatest good fortune, that's freedom from illness, aroko paramatlapo, and the greatest good fortune or the greatest gain or wealth a human being can have is freedom from illness, freedom from disease, good health. Then the greatest, that's on the physical level, the greatest happiness and benefit on the level of the mind is a mind that's free from mental illness, the illness of the mental defilements or these negative, stressful thoughts and moods. If we can free ourselves from our normal blind attachment to them, then we'll achieve a state of peace. And one way Luang described this state of peace is a state of, you could say, cleanliness, the clean mind or pure, clean mind that comes through the Dhamma practice. Just as a house or a building like this, you come in, if it's dirty, the carpet's dirty, the walls are dirty, there's rubbish everywhere, you don't feel good. And it's not pleasant, it's not a healthy place to live. Similarly, our mind, if we don't look after it and keep it clean, as it were, clean from stressful thoughts, negative thoughts, then it won't be a pleasant, happy place to be, and we have a lot of suffering. So this is the purpose of the Buddhist teachings, the Buddhist path, is to help us, to give us the tools, the means, to understand ourselves better, so that we can live in this world more skillfully, involve ourselves with the material world more skillfully, in other words, lead a skillful or a wise lifestyle where we're not going to cause ourselves unnecessary harm or other people harm. And then develop this inner awareness, inner understanding to keep our inner world, in the world of the mind, also free and happy, and develop a good lifestyle there, mentally speaking, on a mental level. So he's just ended saying he came here today to visit you all. He's on a visit from Melbourne, where he's staying the last week, and he'd like to express his appreciation to all of you. Can see that you all have faith and interest in the Buddhist teachings. You come to support this monastery, this temple here. You come to participate in the activities. This is something that's worthy of praise and encouragement. So he's giving you his encouragement to keep up this kind of activity, this practice that you do, because it will bring you success and happiness in the future. So that was just a summary of what he said. I couldn't translate everything because he talked for quite a while, but that was the gist of it. So I'll leave it there.